The Road to War, The Origins of the Second World War by Richard Overy is a comprehensive analysis of the events leading up to the outbreak of World War II in Europe. In this book, Overy examines the complex web of factors that contributed to the rise of Nazi Germany, the appeasement policies of the Western powers, and the failure of diplomacy to prevent the war. Chapter 1. The Legacy of Versailles. The book begins by discussing the aftermath of World War I and the Treaty of Versailles, which imposed heavy reparations on Germany and imposed territorial changes. Overy argues that the treaty sowed the seeds of resentment and instability in Germany, which contributed to the rise of Hitler and the Nazi Party. Chapter 2. The Rise of Hitler. Overy traces Hitler's rise to power in Germany, detailing the economic, social, and political factors that contributed to his success. He also examines the ideology and worldview of the Nazi Party and Hitler's aggressive foreign policy aims. Chapter 3, Appeasement and the Road to Munich. This chapter examines the policy of appeasement pursued by Britain and France in response to Hitler's demands for territorial expansion. Overy argues that the appeasement policy was misguided and allowed Hitler to continue his aggressive policies unchecked, leading ultimately to the Munich Agreement of 1938. Chapter 4, The Soviet Union and the Failure of Collective Security. This chapter looks at the Soviet Union's attempts to form alliances with Britain and France against Nazi Germany, and the failure of these efforts due to political and ideological differences. Overy argues that this failure weakened the collective security efforts that might have prevented the war. Chapter 5. The Outbreak of War. This chapter examines the events leading up to the outbreak of war in September 1939, including the Nazi-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact, the invasion of Poland, and the response of the Western powers. Overy argues that the failure of diplomacy and the flawed policies of the Western powers allowed Hitler to take advantage of the situation and launch his aggressive campaigns. Chapter 6, Conclusion. In the final chapter, Overy summarizes the main arguments of the book and reflects on the lessons to be learned from the outbreak of World War II. He argues that the failure of diplomacy and the policies of appeasement demonstrate the importance of strong leadership and the need to address the root causes of conflict. Overall, The Road to War, The Origins of the Second World War provides a thorough and compelling analysis of the complex factors that contributed to the outbreak of war in Europe. Overy's writing is clear and accessible, making this book an excellent resource for anyone seeking to understand the causes of World War II.
Thank you for visiting our channel, Explore Books. We hope you found the summary informative and helpful. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for more updates. Happy reading!